Hello everyone, my name is Teacher Patrick and welcome back to IELTS Monkey. Today is going to be the second video in our two-part series regarding the Writing Task 2 Band Descriptor, Coherence and Cohesion. And today we're going to talk all about cohesion. If you haven't had a chance yet, go back and take a look at my video about coherence to better understand that band descriptor. Just as a quick review, coherence is all about the big picture, making sure your paragraphing is logical, your ideas are logical, there's progression in your ideas, and also that your grammar and your vocab is appropriate so that your examiner can understand exactly what you're trying to say and understand your arguments. So if that's coherence, what is cohesion? Well, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, our plan for today in this short little lesson is to define cohesion in an easy way, understand all the elements, because a lot of times the band descriptors, it is quite difficult to understand since these band descriptors are made for teachers and not necessarily for students. So breaking this down into more manageable terms that make it easy to understand will help us to get a higher score on task achievement in general. And then we're going to go ahead and compare the different band scores and kind of see how that works within the different levels of cohesion. So, what is cohesion? At the simplest level, cohesion is your ability to connect your ideas well. Okay, so the question you want to ask, are your ideas well connected? So what does this mean? Well, first of all, we want to make sure we have a very clear topic sentence that shows the main idea of your paragraph. Again, we'll talk about this towards the end, but one main idea per paragraph makes it really easy to do. Now, if you have two main ideas, which is totally fine, it's not going to hurt your score as long as you fully develop them. See my video on task achievement. But as long as if you have two main ideas, then your topic sentence is going to be a little bit more general. Whereas if you have one main idea, then your topic sentence is going to be more specific. Also, don't try and explain or justify your main idea in your topic sentence. Save that for your supports. Save that for your examples. That's what they are there for. Next, cohesive devices. I know this is like a buzzword, right? There's cohesive devices, there's transition devices, there's linkers, there's connectives, there's discourse markers. Okay, it's all basically the same thing, but do you use appropriate linking words to connect your ideas? So this is going to be how you introduce ideas. This is going to be how you connect ideas within your sentence, comparing, contrasting, adding information, showing your opinion, giving reasons for why you feel the way that you feel, or you're giving reasons for your argument. These are all cohesive devices. And if you take a look in the comments section, I will post a full list of cohesive devices that are great for using in writing task 2. Make sure you practice them. Okay? Now, one thing we got to be careful of, and we'll talk about this when we discuss the different levels of the band scores, but weaker students actually use these too much. They think that if they use enough of these, it's really going to help improve their score. And while to some extent that will be true, you do need to use them, and you should use them, and you should be accurate with your use. If you're using them at the beginning of every sentence, or you have too many of them in there, or you're just not using them correctly, it will affect your score. So it's not just about using them. It's about finding the happy middle ground of using cohesive devices. Next, we have referencing, substitution, and pronouns. Basically, we need to try and avoid a bunch of repetition in our essay by using the same words over and over and over again. If I say something like, I need to learn English because English is very important to me and English will help me get a job since I want to work in the tourist industry and this will involve a lot of English. English, 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 just too many times. So we need to be able to refer to these nouns, these key nouns, with various pronouns. If you're talking about the government or governments, you can refer to them as it or they, for example. And we'll show you an example a little bit later when we talk about the individual band scores. So cohesion is also about referencing, substitution, and using pronouns to replace key nouns in your essay so that you aren't constantly repeating the same thing. And then, like we said, having one main idea is ideal because this really allows you to have a clear topic sentence and fully develop it. That's a lot more a part of task achievement, but it's just something good to keep in mind. Now remember, you can have more than one idea. I am not saying you can't. It's just best practice, right? It's not always possible though. Okay, band score 5. Basically, at this level, the candidate fails to use any cohesive devices, or if they do, it's very limited. They don't use very many of them, or they go the other side of the spectrum and they use way too many cohesive devices. And also the cohesive devices that they do use are inaccurate. So this would be like repeating firstly over and over and over again. Firstly, 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 because, that type of stuff. And then also we have a lot of repetitiveness in our essay because we're not using our referencing or substitution. So here's an example, kind of similar to the one I said earlier. I think fast food is really unhealthy and fast food leads to a lot of health problems. For example, fast food cannot only lead to obesity, a little spelling error there, but fast food also causes health problems. Therefore, fast food should be avoided because fast food will not help you lead a healthy lifestyle. Okay, it's very repetitive. It's an easy 5 for the examiner when it comes to cohesive because we just have too much repetition. So I doubt many of you are going to be in that area, but it is something you want to keep in mind. So if you don't use any cohesive devices, or if you way overuse the same ones and you don't actually substitute or reference your main nouns, then you're at risk of getting a 5. But to get a 6, our cohesive devices are now used, okay? We're using a little bit more of a variety, and they're also a lot more correct, okay? Now, there still may be a little bit of overuse or misuse, like mistakes, but not near as much as we would see in a band score 5, okay? So it's all about going up that next level. In a band score 5, we're not using them, or we're way overusing them. In a band score 6, we are using them more appropriately. We still might make mistakes from time to time, but they are appropriate. However, the cohesion within and or between our sentences may be faulty. If you look at the band descriptors, you will see this written there, but it can be quite confusing. So let's take a look at each example. First, let's take a look at the faulty example. What does it mean for cohesive devices to be faulty within a sentence? Some people like to eat out at restaurants, while this is good every once in a while, but can be a waste of money. Okay, as we see here, this word while and but, these are the two linkers that we're using here, but we are not using them very effectively. We're not using them in the correct way, so it doesn't really make sense like we want it to. Maybe we say something like, some people like to eat out at restaurants, and while this is good every once in a while, it can also be a waste of money. This might be a better way to use those cohesive devices, but here is an example of it's almost correct, but it's a little bit faulty. And then we have our mechanical example. So mechanical just means it's like a robot. You can anticipate what's going to happen next. Firstly, I went to the store. Secondly, I bought some milk. After that, I drank the milk. Furthermore, finally, as you notice, firstly, secondly, after that, furthermore, finally, we have a cohesive device at the beginning of every single sentence. This is an example of being mechanical. This is something you want to avoid. As a best practice, I often advise students, try to use the cohesive devices at the beginning of your sentences, maybe every other sentence, right? So maybe 2 out of your 4 or 3 out of your 5, something like that would be a little bit better. And also to go back and check that the cohesion in between your sentences, which is really more of a grammatical issue than anything, is correct. Finally, a band score 6 may not always reference or substitute appropriately. However, they do more than a band score 5. So use your pronouns. It, they, them, these, whatever it may be. And finally, the central topic may not always be clear. So this just goes back to making sure that the topic sentence comes directly from your thesis statement. Again, go back and see that task achievement video and making sure that the examiner is extremely clear on what you're trying to say. And then finally, we have a band score 7+. Obviously, a band score 7 is going to use a range of linking devices and connecting words more appropriately. Again, We're going to maybe see a little bit of underuse or overuse, possibly. However, the accuracy is much better, and it's not near the level of a band score 5 or a band score 6. And then, of course, we present a clear central topic within each paragraph. As you move up into the band scores of 8 and 9, your ability to use these linking devices becomes a lot more exact, precise. There's more awareness of style, of when we use these, and it's really a good balance. There's not going to be a lot of over or underuse, of course. So today we talked briefly just about cohesion in the second part of this video, and I hope that now you have a much better understanding of what cohesion is in the band descriptor of coherence and cohesion. And now with the coherence video, you can put these two together and really make a solid essay. Please let me know if you have any questions, and as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.